No, I've already said it. I'm done. Okay? I'm just gonna stay at a hotel for a couple days till I can find something more permanent.
Please, just don't.
No, all you've done is lie to me. Don't even think about calling my phone 100 times again either.
I don't get why you're...
Oh, you don't get it? Well, let's try this. How about you can't even ray trace?
You know I try.
Yeah, that's all I hear, but when are you just gonna do it? And don't even get me started about your power efficiency. Just don't. Hey, baby. I missed you. Yeah, I did it. I left her. You're amazing. I mean, look at all your cores. And don't worry, I'm gonna get a second job like I told you so I can afford you. Yeah. Now let's get this off of the 5090. Wild intros aside, this is an unboxing of Nvidia's new RTX 5090. It came in probably one of, if not the coolest boxes I have ever seen. You can see that it's actually shaped like a 5090. Oh, and if you're planning to pick one of these up, I'll have affiliate links down in the description below for when they're released. It doesn't cost you anything more, and it helps the channel out. Let's just get right into it. So to get this opened, take these off, move these to the side, and she is gorgeous. That I can say. This is wild. It is honestly like an engineering marvel. I'm not exaggerating here. What Nvidia had to do, and it's really to a point where if I were a board partner of Nvidia, I would be kind of annoyed because there is almost no way any of the AIBs are going to be able to pull this off. If you remember, starting with the 3000 series, Nvidia began using this V-shaped PCB design, and they did that for a very specific purpose. Usually, GPU fans push air over the PCB and out the side, but that requires more airflow and it leaves heat behind. Instead, Nvidia notched out the PCB to allow air to flow right through to the other side, but the other fans still blew through the PCB. This time, it does it with both fans. So I actually have a little bit of the PCB that I'll show you right here. You can see that it is really tiny, and basically it fits right about here. So then you have the heat pipes coming out from it, dissipating all of that heat, and then the wind or the fans blow that heat off. I do believe some of it still kind of comes out the side, but it is a very cool design, and that is how they were able to get this so unbelievably small. One engineer, I believe it was an engineer actually, who told me that they have, I think you can even see it right here, so to have the display outputs, what they had to do was actually use like a ribbon cable from here to here, and apparently there's a ribbon cable with something else over here, maybe. Either way, obviously this is having to be connected to the PCB, and they use a ribbon cable for that. Really wild. Like I said, if I was an AIB partner, I would just be like, why? Why are you doing this? You are competing with us in such an incredible way, which, don't get me wrong, there's some really, really cool stuff coming from AIBs. I'll definitely be going over some of those. But for example, the 5090, even though it pulls so much wattage and it's having to dissipate all that heat, they were still able to get it into a dual slot design. That is wild. When we compare it to what I would consider to be already a fairly small design given the performance and things like that, and it can run pretty hot though at the same time, but this is the 7900 XTX, and yes, it isn't as tall, but to be honest, see if we can get a good shot. Yeah, it's not as tall, but it's not that much smaller either, especially when we're talking, I think it's technically 575 watts. Then when it comes to the actual display ports themselves, you can see, so we have one HDMI and 3 display port. Now, when it comes to the design itself, some might argue that it's a bit simplistic. There's not RGB everywhere, not anything really bold or anything like that. I would argue that it's more of an elegant design. This is made for everyone, gamers, but also professionals. So pretty much anyone who could want it. I have no doubt that that was what Nvidia was going for here. And don't get me wrong, there is still some LED strips, just like in the image that Nvidia had actually shared, and we were able to mess with the coloring a bit to where we could actually see the final design. There are a few LED strips. So one right here that goes along this, one right here that goes along here, and then two on the opposite side as well. Not only that, but there is also an LED in the GeForce RTX logo. Let's see. Then, yeah, we have the RTX 5090, but that is not lit up. Overall, I really think this is a great looking GPU. Oh, also, when it comes to the power connector, just like we had seen leading up to the reveal, the 16-pin power connector is at a slight angle here. Probably will help out when you're trying to, especially for those with the 16-pin to 4 or 8-pin connector, having to deal with all of that stuff. It'll probably help a little bit. Plus, don't forget that this should be the new connector, which means that the sense pins have been pulled back a little bit. So if you aren't making a complete connection, it shouldn't power on. Therefore, it shouldn't melt your connector. Overall though, like I said, really nice looking design. Just the fact that they were able to get something with such high wattage into such a slim package really is impressive to me, but that's just my first impressions of the GPU. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And as always, have a great day.